So as can happen at Full Circle, my story just changed. In fact, it was because of Roger's story that I really got to thinking about a time where I felt like I was in a land of gods and monsters and had no guide. New York City. The Big Apple. Oh! I tell you what, I love the city. Do I want to live there? Hell no. But I love getting to visit. It is possibly one of my favorite places to go at least once a year. So it was no surprise that when Benjamin and I got together, we started visiting New York City. It was a chance for us to see shows, to experience Keith and the girl who actually married us, to hang out with friends from NYU and the like, to walk in the shoes of the Beat generation. Well, one of my very first times there with Benji, in fact, it was our first time together, we had gone to New York to be a part of KATG Week. And KATG, again, is Keith and the Girl. It's a podcast, a comedy podcast, and they do a daily podcast every single day, 5 days a week, almost every week of the year, and they've been going for 11, almost 12 years now. So Benjamin was a fan from year one. Like, he started after their first few shows. And he would always go to the meetups, which a lot of them happen to be in New York, where they are from. So Benjamin was really excited because they were having a whole weekend long of events. And so he invited me as well, and he bought all the tickets. Mind you, he has a tattoo of Keith and the Girl, so he gets into everything free. But he bought my tickets, and off to New York we went. Now, at this time, we were, I don't know, maybe I was 22, maybe. And so, still in college, no money whatsoever. We cannot afford a New York hotel. So where are we going to stay? Let's car camp. Yes! The car is perfect. What we'll do is we'll drive to New Jersey, right outside of the city. We'll find a parking deck. We'll park. We'll lose that ticket, because you know, if you're going to stay for 4 days, the price of losing the ticket is a hell of a lot cheaper than staying for 4 days. Then we'll take the subway into the city. All of this sounds perfect. We were even thinking about, after the first event on that Friday night, exploring the city, maybe going to Central Park, and then getting back for the event at like 9 a.m. All of this went awry. You see, at the first event, Benjamin, especially at the time, was somewhat of a celebrity in the KATG world, so all of his friends wanted to ply him with liquor, and ply him with more liquor, and more liquor, and more liquor, until he could barely walk. Now, Benjamin had been to New York City a lot more than me, and especially by himself. He used to literally drive up on a weekend, all by himself when he was in high school, go see a show, and then drive home. Not me. The only time I ever went was on one of those school tours. So I had no idea where I was or what I was supposed to do. And now I had a drunk Benjamin that I had to drag along with me. Our plan to go to Central Park was no longer an option. He could barely walk 100 yards, let alone trying to get all the way 30 blocks down or whatever it was. So, I knew our first and most important priority was to get him food, right? You gotta get some of that liquor, gotta get it nice and absorbed so he starts to digest and can maybe be sober and tell me where the hell the subway is. I mean, yeah, I'm seeing the exits, but these are not the right ones. I don't know what letter I was looking for, but it wasn't A, B, or C. So, I find, at last, an Arby's. And we go in, and he orders half the menu. And that's fine. That's like all of our money, but that's fine. Like, he needs to get sober. He's eating and eating and eating, and occasionally he'll stop eating a fry, he'll put his head down, I'll slap him and he'll wake back up and be like, what? Oh, look, there's food. And he'll start eating. Well, he finished his entire Arby's, thankfully, right around the time they were closing. I was starting to panic just a touch because I had no idea where I was. And outside of the Arby's, there were a bunch of students who were so drunk and rowdy, it made me just nervous to even think about walking through them. So instead of encountering the drunk students, I decided to take Benjamin, basically holding my hand and dragging him at this point, through the dark alleys of New York. The smell of garbage fresh in the air, shadows everywhere. Oh, what an adventure this was turning out to be. So now it's 4 a.m. We have been walking for 2 hours. We haven't made it very far because, as I said, he can barely move. But every once in a while, he'll get a burst of energy and go forward a few steps. So I am starting to find my bearings. I think I know where we're going. When Benjamin suddenly, very sober, looks at me and goes, "I'm hungry." Benjamin, you literally just ate Arby's. No, I didn't. I definitely did not eat any food. I'm so hungry. You're bad at taking care of me, Kyle. Fine, Benjamin, we will find the next place and you will eat whatever is on your plate. You will eat it all. But I am telling you, you had Arby's. There are literally still fry pieces in your beard. At which point he takes it out and munches on it. Still don't believe you. So we happen upon a Subway. We go inside. He orders, I don't even know what kind of sandwich, but literally he asks them to put every meat, every vegetable. He's just like, put everything on, please, everything. This, I like this, and I like that. Yeah, more of that one. So they finally give him the sandwich, and he's eating and eating. And you know, at this point, I'm a little hungry because I didn't eat at Arby's. So I look over to Benjamin and I'm like, "Hey, do you think I could have a bite?" And he goes, "No! This is my sandwich. If you want a sandwich, you go get a sandwich." Well, he ate half the sandwich and then wrapped up the other half, which I thought was actually a good idea. I'm like, that way, in another hour, when you say, "Kyle, you didn't get me any food," I can just show you the sandwich and you can eat it. And he was starting to get a little bit more sober, enough so that he was able to walk. We were able to find this area that led to the New Jersey subway, and I somehow managed to get us back to our car to go to sleep for about 2 hours. But that adventure definitely lives with me. I was absolutely an unwilling hero thrust into the responsibility of taking care of this bear. But I'm really thankful it happened because now I feel really confident every time I go to New York City. I feel like I walked probably the entire island of Manhattan. And so I really do feel like I could probably be a tour guide there if anything else failed. So that being said, it's always good to find yourself lost in a land of gods and monsters.